This video is only one part of an in-depth review, so check out the rest at thegoodride.com. Thanks for watching.
Even though I can't see shit, this board feels so good.
The Jones Lone Wolf. We rode this basically in powder only. That's all we had before the shutdown.
Some nice powder.
Pour us.
Yeah.
Little drift boards and some powder. We had this with Union Atlas and Union Stratus. We rode it a couple days, and those were our conditions. And to give you a short summary, this is a tall needle of a gun. This is, if you surf, this is like riding a step up.
168, it's a long board.
Big, long board.
Yeah.
It's just narrow, fast and carvy and just surfy,
Super
gunny, weird.
Gunny, surfy, interesting, awesome shape.
Peter loved it.
I loved it. It was
And-
so funny. BC was like handing it to me. He's like, "Oh, I just know you're gonna love this
Yep.
board." 45-minute hike up to the top of the mountain to get a 3-minute run down, and let me tell you, it was worth every damn
Carrying
second.
that big ass board on your
Yep.
sizing. Yeah, the 68's right.
It's perfect.
It feels just right.
Yep.
And you could go bigger or smaller. This is kind of like it has that old school sizing where you went bigger for powder days. You went bigger for your free ride / powder board, as big as you could go to get more float. This has a little bit of that with all that modern shape.
Yeah, feels nothing like the old school shapes though. Where
Yeah.
you just ride a 168
Camber.
Camber.
Yeah. It's like camber between the feet, going to a little early rise in the tail with spooned up on the sides where it early rises, and the same in the nose, spoon.
Just a big old spoony nose.
Yep. Then you have that tapered directional shape that just says, I'm ready for anything, as deep as it gets, I'll be your powder needle. And it feels more advanced expert. It's more forgiving than those old school boards.
It definitely takes, some real know-how, I'd say, and it's definitely a very peculiar and it's got a target market. This board is not for everyone.
It's not super washy, it's not super tapered, but it's long, it's got some camber, it's a little forgiving when you skid your turns. I'm going from memory in years past when I rode this, when it was all groomers and no powder, and it feels a little more locked in than you would think. And here we go. Oh, it's got like a softer flex in the nose. Then getting here under the binding, it's really stiff, and it's stiff between the feet, and then it gives a little bit in the tail. It makes it easier to butter than you would think, but not an easy butterer. What did you think, Peter?
No, not an easier, it was like frozen butter.
It has that easily accessible pop, so you can get air pretty easy.
I got some pretty explosive airs actually when riding in the backcountry. Even one where I didn't see the lighting was not very good, and I just launched.
Did not see that.
It feels great for backcountry booters and stuff.
Speed. I mean, first off, this board is fast.
So fast.
It's very bomby. It's like flagship bomby. The way they constructed it, I thought it would be more light, more chattery, and it isn't.
Dude, it handled uneven and chundery snow in the backcountry like a dream. Like an absolute dream.
And the base glide on this is just amazing. It's a big, long board with lots of fast base. So at your local resort on a powder day, you have a long, flat route back to the chair. This is going to be you're going to be passing almost everybody.
Or even just those not so steep, powder runs that you're going through trees and stuff. You're going to be able to catch a lot more speed with this going through that than you would on other boards.
And there's pretty good edge hold. It grips really well in harder conditions. I rode this in spring conditions like 2 or 3 years ago when it first came out, and got some hard snow, got some medium snow, and it held well. For turn initiation, you would think this thing would be slow because it's so big, but rolling it edge to edge, it's fast. But when you get it on the side cut, it doesn't feel like a circle carver like the XV. Like when we were on the XV 167, we couldn't believe what a tight radius that could turn. You could feel it circle carve. This can't do that like the XV can. It's kind of more like the flagship. It doesn't want to just circle carve, but it's a fun, rewarding carve, and you can really feel it. And the turned up sides in the nose and the tail are after the camber, so it doesn't have that weird kind of like washy feel that you have to figure out how to use. Like with other boards with lifted sides, you don't feel it almost at all. So that's really cool.
You just feel it in the powder where it perfectly spoons.
Yes, and speaking
perfectly
of,
spoons the powder,
God,
and you
this
really just feel the rolling edge to edge. We got so far with powder boards, and there was this time where I was like, oh, are they going to get better? And then they kept getting better and better, and now we've gotten to this point, and I'm just like, how is it going to get better than this? This just seems, you know,
it's just so big,
perfect.
it's floaty, and you can see the setback on board, and there's a big difference between nose and tail. It's really set back from the center of board a lot. You can get all this directional float. You've got that amazing base glide. It's like one of those boards you can get for heliboarding for the deepest of deepest days. If you like more of that gunny feel, if you surf, if you want that step up feel in powder, this is going to be your board.
Through the trees, this thing was able to dart through trees no problem in the powder. Yeah, you would think that, you know, you'd have a much slower, just so much more board to handle between your feet, but the thing just rolls around, cuts through this big old swallowtail. Doesn't completely sink like so many other swallowtails that we've been testing lately. But it does dig in like a little hot knife through.
It's a tiny little pizza slice out. It doesn't do that typical swallowtail drop.
Yeah, where it just completely bottoms out. I can't say enough good things about how well this thing for a 168 handles in the trees.
Yeah, it's not for everybody, but for people like Peter and for people like me in certain moods, this just really tickles your taint and gets in there.
This straight up, you know, if you are just a huge fan of all of the boards that I choose as my favorites, you're gonna love this one. I used to be a wolf pack of one, and I didn't think that I would ever find another love, and then I found the Jones Lone Wolf, and now we are a wolf pack of two.
This is the good ride. And Peter's got something to say about us.
Damn it.
All our reviews are a best effort, objective opinion from an average rider's perspective. There's no brand oversight, and we're free to say whatever we want. We send back everything unless it's a favorite, then we ask to keep those or straight up buy them. Now, if you need advice, fill out the eHarmony profile in the Contact Us section of the site. It's the only way I can help you properly. If you want to support us, and if what we reviewed appeals to you, it helps if you buy through our links. So, thanks for watching.